The nature of the mind. The mind is very mercurial. It has its own trajectory. If there's one free thing in this world with total abandon, absolutely free, it's the mind. The mind is the storehouse of memories, information, stories built over time, experiences, and mostly it is jumbled for anybody. Mind is extremely powerful. It can drive a man up to a cliff and then jump. I've been in those situations. Or it can make a person write poetry or do something great, build paintings of Michelangelo in Sistine Church. The mind is extremely powerful, and so spirituality or meditation is to reel in this power. It's like somebody giving you a nuclear bomb, and your job is to find the trigger. Converting a little bit of mass into energy can be stupendous. It can destroy a city. That's the power of a nuclear fusion or a fission. As much power as one would see in a sun. So the mind is very, very powerful. For most of us, we are not riding the mind is riding us. 99.9%. So it determines our moods. We're feeling good, not feeling good. And so let's look at the tendencies of the mind. The first I think is the sexual attraction, infatuation of a mind is extremely strong. Even from animal kingdom, there are two basic drives of an animal: survival and mating. Mating, and many species fight for a mating right. They rather risk death. They fight. Two males fight over the mating in the mating season. Who gets the right to mate the females? So it's a very, very powerful instinct. The greatest pleasure a human being knows, the greatest creativity and imagination is in sex. You can't go away from it. So let me call it infatuation. If this first attribute of the mind is infatuation, once you reach 14 or 15, your sexual hormones are triggered. You could have a lifetime of thinking about a man and woman. So infatuation is very, very strong. Next, which is a good thing or a bad thing, it depends upon the proportion. If your entire life is focused on sex, it's a very small life. It's a part of life. You don't have to over-exaggerate it, over-emphasize it. With moderation, it's a good thing. Next emotion, the mind is attacked as frustration, is anger, outrage. The mind has ambitions, makes plans. When they are thwarted or stymied, it feels anger. Anger and hatred are two powerful emotions. The first being infatuation, the second I would say is anger and hatred. You could wallow in hatred and anger for days and years. The likes and dislikes slowly build up and they manifest as anger and hate. The fourth important attribute of the mind is the feeling of fear. All these are nothing but thoughts. Thoughts which is heightened becomes feelings. Feelings when they stimulate become emotions. So what thoughts you entertain in your mind, they end up either as lust, your infatuation, or they make you angry or hatred or fear. Fear is vulnerability, unable to do something, and your survival depends on it. Fear is a real emotion. The mind always lives in the past and the present. Lives in the past and the future. The past is something like memories, stored of memories. And most of us have negative orientation. The negativity bias of the mind is very, very natural. If you take a sample of all the good things, very few people would think of positive things happening to their life. We are programmed to think negatively, and there's a reason for it. Let's not go into it now. So the mind at any point of time is connected to the five sense organs of speech, or of sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell. It's like almost the coordinating point of these five senses, and as it tries to make sense of the world. And it keeps judging. It keeps saying, this is good, this is bad, I like it, I don't like it, and this is the problem of the mind. So when you look at the world, we always look at it through a filter of our likes and dislikes. It makes the mind very reactive. Instantly, we come across to a person we are introduced, we feel not right, or suddenly you get introduced to a female, you say, I want to marry her next moment. So the mind can be extremely judgmental, and that's a huge problem in the mind, because we classify the entire creation as black or white, good and bad, good for me, not bad for me, when you need all those impulses. Life is a whole, WHOLE, so you need to have all kinds of experiences, and when you start classifying them, when you classify the outside world as good or bad or weak or strong, you're doing it, you also become judgmental about your own self. How smart I am, whether I'm good looking or bad looking, whether I make good money or not, whether that guy is fair than me, blacker than me, more powerful than me, his wife is good looking, not good looking. So the mind has an has a tendency for judging, which is not very wholesome for your mind. Leads to comparison, competition, taking unfair advantage. Why is there corruption in the corporate sector? For me to get 5%, get my neck head by 5%, I'm willing to pay money. I'm willing to bribe other people so that I can make more money than the other person marginally. Through a better, faster license or a faster clearance, or get laws which favor my company, I'm willing to spend a little bit more so that I get a marginally ahead of the other person. Is there any benefit in the end? I'm not so sure. So the mind is also opinionated, judgmental. Opinionated, it picks up opinions, mostly impressionable. I like Trump, I don't like Donald Trump. I like Modi, I don't like Modi. It wanders into the emotions of hate and anger and love is so strong, it spills over to the macro events. People who you have never come in contact with. Today you are willing to fight. Vijay is a good actor, better actor than Ajit, or Ajit is a better actor. Or Tendulkar and Dravid. Shah Rukh Khan and Amir Khan. Or Hrithik Roshan. I mean, how does it make any sense to you in your life? You spend your emotions and feelings thinking about these people. And the more you do it, the more their ambassador fee, the more they would charge for a movie. Amount of influence they have on idiots like you and me, the richer they get. So the tendencies of the mind is judgmental, opinionated, fluctuating, mercurial. You don't know what's going to happen at any point of time. And this is a cauldron. At every moment of your life, the mind projects thoughts which can race into feelings and emotions in next to no time. Thought is a weak energy field. You can live with it. Feelings, you get affected by it. I'm not feeling right. I don't want to have this meeting because I'm not feeling well. Not in terms of physically. I mean, something sounds right, something doesn't sound right. Feelings. And then we have emotion, which is very, very long lived. Intellect is just information, highly overrated. Human beings are not rational beings, we are highly emotions. Love, lust, then hate, anger, fear, they drive us like crazy. These are the basic 5 emotions, I would say. The mind keeps tossing around, wallowing in different thoughts and feelings during the day. You feel strongly at times, take it as feelings. If you feel a light thought about it, take it as a thought. But you're a prisoner to the thoughts and feelings of these hues, 5 hues. Again I repeat, infatuation, mostly. Love, very rarely. Love as expressed as care and understanding. Indian society's love is almost non-existent. Anger and hatred, we are extremely alert to, very ready to hate and express anger, because most of the things don't go wrong. Most of the things go wrong actually. So we are extremely susceptible to anger and hatred and fear. Fear of not paying our rentals, fear of not paying our bills, fear of losing our jobs, fear of our wives running away with Shah Rukh Khan. Maybe you'd be lucky. So this is the problem of the mind. The mind is extremely agitative, and all these sequence of emotions, they don't have any particular order. You may get a feeling very happy, and next moment you're sad. It plays you around. You're tossed around in the ocean of emotions and feelings and thoughts. And the entire purpose of meditation is to rein in. If I can control the mind at least one in 4 times, if I can chart out the activity in the day, what I need to do, what I do, if I can bring my mind to an activity, if I can get my mind to cooperate with me, be friendly to me, be bad for me, that's the purpose of meditation. That's the purpose of Vipassana. That's the purpose of mindfulness, where I'm able to see these thoughts and feelings as it is without judging. By mere observation, I'm able to remove the toxic force. Feelings and emotions are not something to be laughed at. It really drives you up. And when I tell you a person, you could be so driven up by emotions, it can make you climb up a cliff and take a jump, or you could put your head in the railway tracks, hoping for the train to run over. Mind can be such a destructive force, and mind can also be a wholesome mind. All of us are looking for peace, harmony, goodwill. That's the purpose of the mind. That's the purpose of living. Getting our mind off its mischief. To train the mind like an animal, like a circus lion or a circus elephant. Train it to behave well. To what extent we are able to train in and discipline our mind is the story of our life. Coming back to stories, the mind creates all these thoughts almost helplessly. We keep reacting to the mind helplessly. The mind loves stories. It takes its existence from the stories it builds. So if you were to just see the story and not react to it, that would be a huge benefit. The mind has many processes, but I think this would be the basic thing, that we are always tossed in the ocean of thoughts, feelings and emotions. We are all helplessly driven. Anybody can knock you off your perch. Anybody can rob you of your peace of mind. Road rages are very common. Even reading a newspaper, you could fall into a pattern of sadness. Mind is highly conditioned. It falls into the same tracks of misery and gloom. And the purpose is to slow it down and try to teach it some goodwill, some peace, some harmony. And that's the purpose of meditation.